much for your patience while we got set up today, and thank you for joining for another product webinar. We're going to dive into today's product in just a minute, but I want to give everyone a second to trickle in. Today we have Chris. He is one of the founders of Oviond. Oviond is a customizable digital platform that combines and organizes all of your marketing data into useful insights and automated reports. It's an awesome tool that's available right now on AppSumo, starting at just $49. And before we go through the walkthrough, before I turn this over to Chris, there are 3 things that I would like to go over. The first, Sumolings, we want to get to know you better, and we want to know why you're interested in this tool. So in the chat room, you can go ahead and let us know a little bit about your business, maybe share your website with us, and let us know what you want to learn during this webinar. The second thing is if you have any questions about the tool or about the deal and how to get set up, anything like that, you can leave those questions in the Q&A box down below beneath the video, and we'll circle back to those questions at the end after the walkthrough. And the third and final thing, we will be sending out a replay of this webinar after it's done recording. So if you have to jump out early, you can, and then you'll be able to catch up and rewatch it later. All right. Let's get started. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, Lindsay, no problem at all. It's so good to be here.
Awesome. First, I just want to ask you, what are some features that Oviond users are most excited about?
So, Lindsay, the thing that we're finding is that a lot of our users are most excited about how quick it is just to get set up some client reporting. So typically, our users are small to medium digital marketing agencies that are doing a little bit of digital marketing, running some digital marketing services for a couple of clients. So they might be, running some AdWords or doing some work on their website and giving them some feedback on how many visits they're getting or how many leads they're generating. And we're finding some of the Sumolings are really enjoying the ease of the product. So kind of just 1 or 2 clicks just to get some basic reports together. And then also just the ability to customize really quick and easily.
I love it. All right. Well, I'm going to turn this over to you. Sumolings, if you have any questions, you can leave those in the Q&A box below. And if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and the needs of your business, you can leave those in the chat room. All right, Chris, you can take it over.
Cool. So what I want to highlight is the first thing is just the first view that we're looking at here really is just the main dashboard that we're looking at. Each of these little boxes represents a client. So what we've got right at the top here on the top left hand side is just a drop down. We're able to create a folder and group clients into folders. This is useful if you're kind of just running clients at different levels, or maybe you're running clients in different niches. So you could have kind of restaurants, motor manufacturers, electric manufacturers, whatever it might be. To add a new client onto this dashboard, we could just go up here and pop in new client right here. Client name. You'd assign a project manager. At this point, there's obviously only a couple of people in this account, and set the base currency. We'll leave this as US dollar. So the next screen that it brings up is it's going to ask you to associate the various integrations to that particular client. So obviously, depending on the type of work that you're doing for them, in this case, you might say that maybe we're running some Google ads for them. So when you need to authenticate these accounts, obviously for the first time, and once they're authenticated, you'll be able to grab any account. In this particular case, this is authenticated to an MCC account, and it's important to note that for things like Google ads and Facebook ads, you need to have an MCC account. So you need to have like an agency profile so that you're able to bring in all of the customer data. So let's bring in some Google Ads data. Let's bring in some Google Analytics data. So right here is just asking us, which view to use, etc. And then we'll go ahead and create the client. Okay, so we've got quite a couple of integrations. We've got a few of them in beta, but we've got loads and loads of live integrations ready to go. So for this particular client, we set up 2 integrations, and what we got here is now we're inside the client view. So once we're inside the client view, the very first thing we see is the integrations dashboards. So one of the key differentiators with Oviond is that every single integration that we connect, it gives us a dashboard kind of out of the box. So in this particular case, it gives us a Google Ads dashboard right out of the box. So it just gives us a couple of basic Google Ads metrics. And I can also switch to the Google Analytics dashboard right here. And it gives us a basic Google Analytics dashboard straight out the box. So these dashboards don't use any of the quota limits or anything like that. And this is something completely unique to Oviond because most of the other tools, you just connect the integration and then you need to use one of your dashboards and your quota limits. But we're just giving people a dashboard per connected data integration that they can use really from the reason that these are here is really just from a management perspective. So these dashboards can be set up and they can really look at how everything is going across all of the connected data integrations. So these dashboards are completely customizable. The first version of, or the first dashboard that you see here is really just a starting point. You could jump in at the top here and you can add data widgets into this Google Ads dashboard. We have kind of hundreds of metrics available for every connected data integration. But typically, you'd get this set up for your agency and you could even template these, for all of your Google Ads accounts to look at just the key metrics for Google Ads. So the very first part of it is the integrations dashboard. So obviously for every single integration that we connect, we will get an integrations dashboard. These integrations dashboards, obviously you can add to them as you go, but these integrations dashboards, these are just dashboards for those particular integrations. So it becomes a lot more useful on the next tab down when we look at dashboards. So dashboards are different to integration dashboards in that dashboards, this is where we're able to blend up data or mash data up from any of the connected data integrations above here. So the first dashboard we've got here is just a sample, but let's go ahead and add a dashboard up here. And we've got a whole bunch of different use cases here. So we've got a bunch of templates that are just like one click to get going. And each one's got a little description. So maybe we'll get started right here. We don't have all of these integrations connected, but what the template will do is basically just deploy a template with all of the data that is available. So in this case, we had connected, Google Analytics and we had connected Google Ads. So we're getting data for those, but this dashboard was also looking for data from, Facebook as an example. So if we want to bring that data in, we just need to connect an account up to this particular profile. So these dashboards are obviously super useful because when we're adding or bringing data into these dashboards, we're able to select any of the integrations that we had connected up at the beginning when we got the account started up. What I'm going to do just for the sake of the demo is just go back to the home screen. And I'm just going to jump into a demo project here that has a couple more integrations connected. So I'll jump into this Apple client. And when we look here, you'll see that there are quite a few more integrations that are connected here. So again, the area that we're on now is the integrations dashboard. So each of these are dashboards specific to these integrations. If we go to the blended dashboards here, we can go ahead and run that same test again. And you'll see now that it'll bring in data from all of the connected data integrations. The reason for that is because we've connected up all of those profiles. So here we've got data from Google Analytics and, Google Ads, here's some data from Facebook, some demographic data, some page-like data, etc. So that's how it kind of all comes together. So what we could do is go and clear all the widgets out on this dashboard. And I'll just show you guys quickly how you can bring in any data from any of the connected data integrations. So we could bring in data right here, like if we want to bring in some, Facebook ad data as an example. We could look at some campaign data, look at some performance data, and, bring in any metric we like, break it down by age. give the widget a name and select the way that we'd like it to be displayed. In this particular case, I don't have anything to display there, but let's just bring in something else. Maybe we'll look at something from Google Analytics. I was going to ask you to name the widget. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what's going on here. Let me just have a look here. We are using demo data here, so I think it might just be that there is no data connected there. I apologize for that. But you'd basically just bring in any data from any of the connected integrations right here. So up at the top here, you'd select your data partner, and at the bottom, you just select what data you wanted to bring in, and you could mash all of the data up side by side. Let's jump into one of the demo dashboards that does have some data in. So let's set up. Let's just add a template in. Okay, so the idea is that all of these dashboards are completely customizable to kind of give you whichever data you want. The purpose of a dashboard really is to get more of a snapshot view of what's going on. So that, at Oviond, we broke dashboards and reports out into two separate modules. We've come off the back of many years of agency experience, and we really see dashboards as being more of something that you'd use to manage a client account. So we don't think dashboards are particularly useful to share with clients. We think that reports are better for clients because they're more snapshots saved in time, and we need to be able to reference back to them. We see dashboards more of being a tool for creating something that the agency can look at, or the person or the consultant can look at that's running the account, and that can just get a quick snapshot of exactly what is going on, on any given account. So that's why we broke the two up. Once these dashboards are set up, you can obviously flick between all of the dashboards in the account like this. You can search the dashboards. You're able to add text box insights to the dashboard, so you can add text boxes in, so you can type anywhere in the dashboards. And there's obviously what you see is what you get editor right at the top here. You can add any sorts of media in, so if you wanted to add pictures and videos in, you're able to do that. And we're able to share these with a client or share them with a staff member just to look at the progress on any given client's account. So that in summary is dashboards. So just to go over it again, really the integrations are like dashboards, except these are integration specific. So these dashboards really just look at that particular integration. So in this case, I've looked at Facebook. The blended dashboards over here, this is where you can take any data from any of the connected data integrations and kind of mash all the data up together into something more useful. For the blended dashboards, we give you a lot of ideas to get started of different types of dashboards that you can create. This is obviously the initial template library. We're working on this, and we'll be building on this all the time. This is really what we want to get to over time, is make it really easy just to have a one-click dashboard. So let's say you came in and you wanted to look at general website traffic or social media dashboard. The idea is that we get as many of these good core reporting dashboards together, core monitoring dashboards together as possible, so that with one click, you're able to jump in and really have something useful to look at, depending on which data integrations you had connected for that particular client. So this is really just in terms of the direction of the platform. This is where we're going to be putting a lot of effort in. Just a couple more things while we're on dashboards is obviously everything has a date range picker at the top there. So, we're able to look at by default, it looks at the last 30 days. We could set it to the last 7 days just to reset all the data on this dashboard. One of the major benefits of Oviond is that we're able to jump in and set the date at widget level, and we're also able to set the date at dashboard level. So kind of a good use case of this is that we're able to kind of, if we want to look at, you know, kind of this year at the top, we could look at, you know, a much shorter snapshot on all of the others, or let's say like whatever we wanted to say. If we want to say like last 90 days on the top, we could look at last 90 days up here, but the other widgets on the dashboard could all carry like the, you know, they would all copy the date of the main master of the main picker. So it would be last 7 days would be the primary date range picker, but you could set a widget to have a different date range. So super useful for looking at like, you know, how things are going this year. And then at widget level, you could be looking at last 7 days or whatever it might be. So in summary, that's dashboards. We're able to flick between all of them up here, set the date ranges up here, add all your media and widgets in here, and get them to look however you like. The next module is reporting. So dashboards and reporting differ in that reporting we see as being like timed events. So a good use case for reporting would be like if you wanted to send your clients a report every week or every month or every 3 months or every quarter, whatever it might be, reports are super useful for that because these become time-stamped events. And we're able to save all of those. So like a dashboard, you might want to switch up and change depending on what you were managing for the client. If you wanted to look at media spend or if you want to look at kind of performance metrics, you may change that over time. The nice thing is with reporting, you'd have these saved events that would be saved over a period of time. You know, so you may have January, February, March, April, or it might be week 1, week 2, week 3 for that particular client, or you may have a social media report and a website engagement report, but they would all be saved timestamped events. Again, when you create a report, you're able to work off a template. So I'll just give you a very basic template here. So a report, the format changes completely. The format changes into more of an A4 document type format. The reason for this is we found through experience that a lot of people consuming these reports still live in this A4 document type world. And very often you need to create a PDF or create a print or create something that's easy for them to consume. We found that very often clients get lost in dashboards. There's too many widgets. So we really wanted to make a way to make it almost, you know, pageable so that these things could be scrolled through in almost a document type format. So again, what we give you here is loads and loads of kind of one-click reports that you can use. These cover pages can be, you know, they can all be switched up or they could be removed. And what we're giving you is just a starting point here. You're able to jump in and add any data from any connected integration to any page. Obviously, these widgets, you can remove them if you don't want them. You know, you can move things around, you can resize things. You can make these reports look however you want. What we're giving you here is really just somewhere to start. They may work really well for you straight out of the box, but what we're giving you here is really just a starting point. Everything here is completely configurable. You're able to add pages, remove pages. You can rename these pages. You know, you could decide exactly what you wanted, and then you could go ahead and template that for your particular use case. And then you could deploy that template across all the rest of the clients in your account. So these reports are really just a useful starting point. And what I'll do is go back to reports and just show you how easy that was. So we'll add another report in here. We'll pick another template. Maybe we'll take the social media template. And this just gives you an idea of another type of cover page, right? So, I mean, you don't need to use this cover page. You could jump in here and you could choose a bunch of different cover page templates that we have here. Or you could just start blank, or you could just add your own template in through the media library. But it really is fully configurable. What we're giving you with the templates is really just a starting point. So it's really just to say, here is somewhere for you to start. And, you know, once you get going, you know, these things become completely your own. So we're just giving you something useful to start with. This, again, is just one of the key features, and one of the things that guys are finding really useful about the tool is that you don't really need to do too much thinking. we've done a lot of the work for you, and we'll be doing a lot more of these ready-made templates as we go. So keep an eye out for that. Sorry, it's just kind of sticking a little bit there. So it just gives you an idea of the types of things you can do on these reports. But obviously it is completely yours to work with. Reports work in a very similar way to dashboards, except that they're almost unlimited. You can add as many pages in as you like. You can add as many widgets as you like. You know, you can really go to town with these things. But in terms of what you can add in, so you can add any metric from any connected data integration. You can add text widgets to the pages. You can add media, which includes video and any sort of any images, any media, any videos. You're able to add in here. And then, of course, you're able to automate these reports you can create events out of these reports. So from an automation perspective, you could send it to an email address. A lot of the questions that are coming in from the Sumo links is can this be customized in terms of where it comes from? Absolutely. So this could come from like your agency, you know, your name at youragency.com. That gets set up in the settings. And then you can set it to go, you know, you can set the date range. So if you wanted to send them a report for the last 30 days and you wanted to send it monthly on the 1st of every month, you could just give it a name, save that automation, and this report would run on the 1st of every single month, and the data would always reset to the last 30 days. So you could create really like an automated process here to keep your clients up to speed with what was going on in that particular account. When you're done with this report, there are ways that you can publish it as well. So you could share the report. And what this does is it moves it over to a completely on-brand, simplified version of the editor. So it gives the client almost a very simple little website to scroll through here. You'd give this to them via a shared link. And when they're on here, they're able to obviously generate a PDF to share it, or they could come back to the link at any time. And this really is the final version of the report that would be shared with the client. And they're able to dump this into a PDF pretty easily, or they could share it with anyone internally just by hitting the share link right here. Keep in mind that all of these assets are fully brandable, so the Oviond logo will disappear and they'll be replaced with your logo. It could go onto a branded URL, your own branded URL. And all of your share links would obviously also be in your own brand. So Lindsay, I don't think I want to overwhelm the audience at this stage. I think I'd like to take questions. I'm sure there's a lot of them. So maybe we should jump straight.
Absolutely. So the first thing that I would love for you to talk about, two things that Sumolings love. They love integrations, and we love a roadmap. So can you talk to us, and we have a lot of questions here also about either current integrations or will you have future integrations? So what can you tell us about your roadmap and about some integrations we have to look forward to?
Sure, no problem at all. So let's start with integrations. So from an integrations perspective at this point, on our website, we do have a full catalog on our main Oviond.com website. We do have a full catalog under integrations of what we have live at the moment. So we have some integrations that are live and we have some that we're working on. So there's a little badge on the top right-hand side of every single integration, you know, letting everyone know like at what status, what the status is of the integration. And, you know, like you can see some of these here are planned and some of them are building and some of them are in beta. So this is where they can really have a look at what is, you know, what is here. This is fully synced up with the app. So whatever is live on here, if we go into the app and we have a look at the integrations here, this is completely in sync with what is on the front end of the website. So all of these integrations here would match up to what we have on the front end of the site. From a roadmap perspective, absolutely. So again, on the front end of the website, just right down on the bottom right hand side here, we have a roadmap and changelog. and everything is in here. So this is where anyone can make recommendations. Obviously, this being an early version of the software, we have no limitations for the Sumo links. So everyone in the software gets all future updates. So in other words, everyone gets the opportunity to vote. And as we start building out these integrations based on popularity, they will all become available to every single person that buys into the lifetime deal. So yeah, we absolutely do have a roadmap. We absolutely are listening and are looking. We will be looking at this vote system very, very carefully after this launch and building out the next set of integrations very, very quickly.
Awesome. We love that. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and work through the questions in the Q&A. If you have any questions, please feel free to submit those. We do have quite a few to get through. So let's start from the beginning. Can we do PPC markups on Google Ads and D360?
Yes, you can. So we do have a markup feature on Google Ads. So you're able to mark up by percentage. So you can mark up your cost by like say 10%, and that would affect all of the cost prices like across the board. Yeah, that is possible.
All right. Another question that's come up a couple times is about white labeling. Does the software have a white label option?
It absolutely does. So right here, the white label is, the Oviond logo, the fave icon at the top, the app ID, and obviously all of the shared assets could come from your own white label domain. And you're able to get all of the colors set up to your exact brand. So I'll just give you a very quick look at that. So if we jump into settings, and inside settings, we go to white label, and this here can all be fully customized to look completely like yours. So all of the chart colors, the logo, the domain, everything. And I believe that all of the AppSumo plans include white label.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, this next person, will this provide reports on the different clients? So if they run different business accounts?
Yes, I understand that. So, yes, I mean, what we're looking at, are we still seeing the screen share there, Lindsay?
Yes, well, I am.
Okay, so what we're looking at here is these are all different clients, so these would be all of your different agency clients, and each one would be connected to a different Facebook profile, a different Google Ads profile, a different LinkedIn profile. So like, you have used Amazon as an example, that would have all of its own connected data integrations inside. So yeah, I think if I understand the question correctly, absolutely, the architecture of the app is to fix that exact problem.
All right. The next question from David, what's an MCC account?
An MCC account is something that, so most of the digital media platforms, so like Facebook ads as an example, they would use a Facebook business account to manage multiple client profiles. So agencies would typically use like business.facebook.com. And I spoke about an MCC account earlier. An MCC account is Google Ads. That's what they use to kind of combine many AdWords accounts together. So like as one brand, you may just use Google Ads directly, but this tool or Oviond is built specifically for people. They could be running one brand, or most of the use cases for this particular product is for people running multiple brands. So in other words, you might be helping 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 or 200 people to run their AdWords. So you would use a Google Ads MCC account to kind of combine all those accounts. It's something free that Google offers, and it's just an easy way to bring everything together. It takes 2 minutes to set up. So for Google, it's an account. Each of the platforms kind of have their own way of bringing everything together.
Neat.
It's almost like the master.
All right.
Okay, Lindsay, go for it.
All right. The next question. So in terms of keeping historical data, will Oviond keep historical data to go back eventually as far as a user has been with Oviond? Or how far back does it go?
Well, that's a great question. The answer to that is it depends. So the data that we track obviously from the time that you sign up on the platform, all of the reports are always saved. So in the report inventory, the report is like a snapshot at that given time. So if you created a report now, it would be there in 2 or 3 years' time exactly as you created it, right? But when you sign up for the first time, sometimes we're limited by what the integration partners give us. So as an example, Google Analytics will give us data for the lifetime of for the full kind of lifetime of the account, but you find Facebook gives us a year's data. So it depends on the integration partner. But you know, if we have the data and we create the report, if we had that Facebook data and it was like 2 years' time, we'd still have that data in that report.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for explaining that. The next one, do we need to create the dashboards ourselves, or are there templates available for users?
There absolutely are templates. So the thing is we have one-click templates. So for all of the dashboards, I mean, if we just go in here real quick, I'll just give you guys an example. We went through it. I'm going to go through it one more time real quick. So if we go down to dashboards over here, we don't need anyone to go and create these things from scratch. We've gone ahead and created a whole lot of templates for you. So you can just scroll through the inventory of templates and you just click something that's, you know, close to what you want and it builds it for you. So yeah, absolutely. And this is, if whoever asked that question, this is really a key part of where the product will go, is to make sure that we keep building these amazing templates so that you guys really don't have to think too much about what should we be putting on these dashboards or what might be useful. We'll build these for you. Obviously, a lot of users are really like, you know, they're really been in digital marketing for a long time, or maybe this is really their full-time game. We cater for those guys too, in terms of you can add anything in here from any connected data integration, and you can spend the time building these dashboards. But the whole purpose of the platform is that it should be really, really quick and easy for you to deploy these things.
I love that. That's very helpful. Thank you. A question is, so they like that you could add pictures and text. Can you also add a feed like from social media or a blog?
It's a great question. Let me just think about this. So the so I think they're probably referring to like an RSS feed. So at this point, no.
Yeah.
At this point, we're looking at what's happening on the particular integration. So at this point, we don't do anything like that. But I mean, it may be an interesting idea that we could add to the roadmap.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Can reports be set to go to clients on a recurring schedule?
They absolutely can. So Lindsay, I just want to find out, as these questions come up, do you want me to quickly pop in and show you, or do you just want like a yes/no answer?
That's up to you. This you can totally explain to us. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, cool. No stress at all. So if we go down to reporting over here, so reporting, like I said, are more like time-stamped events. So we can go and look at any of these reports that we created in here. And when we've done that, there's this little magic wand on the side here. You can just hit that there. And then you can just put the client's address in and you can say, you know, I'd like this to send to the client a snapshot of the last 7 days, and I want it to be sent to them every week on a Tuesday. And you can set this to run, and this would run every single week on a Tuesday, and it would automatically refresh the data. In this automation tab, you'd go to automation history and you'd see all the automation events that were set up here. So you could go look at every single report that was created in that particular automation sequence.
All right, thanks so much. We do have a lot of questions here, so if you haven't heard yours yet, we are going to get to it. We're going to go in the order that they were received. The next question that we have, are we able to create custom metrics?
Yes, so let's have a look at that real quick.
If it's something that you've already gone over, you could just do yes or no answers, because we are running on, you know.
Yes, you can. So you can absolutely create custom metrics. I'd like to say this though, that for every single integration partner, we have brought in a lot of the most popular metrics, right? So you can bring any of those metrics that we've created or that we have available in the library for that particular integration, you're able to bring in. Of course, because it's such a kind of, it's fixing a big problem, Oviond, with many, many, many data problems. Sometimes there might be metrics that a particular user wants that we don't have for that particular integration. Those are really just, those come in as requests, and we're able to kind of turn those around like in a couple of weeks or even in a week or two, because it's really, really easy for us to bring like an edge case metric that comes in that's not available, if that makes sense. So users are able to just put a request through, and we generally pop them in within a week or two.
That's awesome. All right. Is there an API to connect to other third-party products, and do you support webhooks?
At this point, we don't know. I mean, that's something that we'll obviously look at as we get to a slightly more mature level with the product, but at this point, no.
All right. With regards to Facebook reporting, is it possible to filter by ad set name or campaign name for building dashboards or reports?
You absolutely can, yes.
Cool. Is there a way to customize ready-made templates reports past this with custom CSS and HTML?
Let me think about this. No. So the only customization you can do is in the white label components of the app. So you can set kind of your chart colors, you can set your brand, your icon, your logo and stuff, but we don't kind of have a CSS editor to change the shapes of things or anything like that. So it is slightly limited in that regard. And one of the reasons it's slightly limited is because it becomes very, very difficult, like particularly with dashboards, because there are lots of different screen sizes, and so we try to keep it as reliable as possible. It may be something that we'd look at in the future if the request came up, enough.
Sure, thank you. Is it possible to filter data within widgets? Make a widget show only data from a certain campaign or conversions only of a certain time?
Yes.
Cool. Can you add more metrics like post previews to Instagram?
Yeah, so I mean, if it's something that is not on at the moment, and I assume maybe it's someone that's had a look, I don't know offhand if it is or if it isn't there. If it is something that's not there, during the campaign, during the AppSumo launch, we're kind of in a bit of a lockdown in terms of new feature requests. But the moment that the campaign runs, we're certainly going to be looking at anything that pops up. And I mean, adding metrics in is a super quick process, as I said. So we certainly will be doing that. Yeah.
Awesome. Will there be a point where they can integrate competitor data?
Okay, so I think what the Sumo is asking here is really looking at maybe SEO data potentially. So we don't have a native SEO tool built into the platform, but you can integrate with. I mean, I know the guys from SE ranking. We can bring the data in. That's one of the integrations, or SERPstat, which one of the previous deals on AppSumo. You can bring competitor data in using those guys.
All right, you answered a couple questions just now, actually, so thanks for that. Can I protect a dashboard report by a password?
That is a great question. That's one of our top feature requests, and that was actually, it's one of the things we're building out right now. Release on that will be within a week or two after the campaign is done. All
right. We have had a few people, and I believe that you addressed this during the walkthrough, but if you could just give us just one answer. A few people have asked about client access to the portal, not just to reports. Can they do it? Would they be able to do it without seeing active clients? Yeah.
So that's been a question that's come up a few times, obviously through the forums and through the help center. It's not really the way that we engineered this tool. So the tool was set up to be used as a platform for digital agencies to create clients, and then we see the digital agency or the digital marketing consultant really being the person that understands this world. And we didn't really design it as something that clients would come into and mess around with and do their own thing on. We know there are platforms that do that type of thing, but we just really didn't see the value in copying that, because the value in being a consultant or an agency is really to sell and monetize that thought leadership. All of the assets that you create in here for your clients These are all shareable. So if you create a group of dashboards for them or group of reports for them or anything that is of value for them, they can jump in. So in other words, we could come down here and we could choose to share all of these dashboards with the client through a simple link, and they would be able to jump in here. So I'll just show you real quick. If we did a share on this dashboard, we could, let's just have a look here. So we could, so you can choose which dashboards you want to be included in the sharing. If I was to share this out, your clients will be able to pop in and have a look at every single one of these dashboards. It will be completely in your environment, branded, your URL, your logo, your colors, everything else. But from a portal perspective, the answer to that is no, and that's not something that we're planning on changing.
Okay, thank you so much. So next question. Are you able to generate a report with certain filters in Google Ads and Facebook Ads? For example, if you wanted to run a report with only campaigns that include the name pizza.
Yeah, that's a good question. So at this point, we don't have kind of that level of advanced filtering built in, but I can tell you that it is a request. Before we went on AppSumo, we've got a whole bunch of paid agencies using this platform. Obviously, they came with us through beta, and they've continued to use it. And it's one of the features that they are requesting. So I can tell you that it is something that you will see very shortly.
Wonderful, thank you. Is there a maximum number of clients for an account?
Yes. So this is the only way that Oviond limits it. I mean, this is how we set up the different plans. So. Just to give the Sumerlings like an idea, generally all of our competitors limit it by like the amount of dashboards you can have or the amount of reports you can have. The take that we have is you can have an unlimited amount of dashboards and an unlimited amount of reports, but we limit it by the amount of clients that you have. So like that's this, right? So Amazon, Apple, Burger King, Ford, Honda, yeah, so absolutely. I mean, but I think that with the AppSumo deals, I think we're doing a 3-stack, which is up to about 200 of these. So it would be 200 of these clients, and within each of these, you can have an unlimited amount of dashboards, integrations, and reports.
Awesome. So on the same topic, talking about the deal setup, what are the exclusive add-ons for a 3-code stack?
The add-on that we have negotiated with the AppSumo team is really just to bring more clients on. So if a Sumoling buys a 200 client package, so in other words, 200 of these, right? Amazon, Apple, Burger King, if they buy 200 clients, if they maxed out on that 200, we just wanted a way to give them, give them the ability to add more on, because obviously they wouldn't want to max out and then not be able to use the tool because they maxed out.
Yeah.
In the case that they did max out, the add-on is really just to say it's an additional $2 per client bought in batches of 10. So for $20, they'd be able to get another 20 clients in, and that would be a recurring monthly kind of fee that would need to come off. It's half the price of what we would regularly charge a client. But remember that they would first have the base of 200 clients to use and then add that over and above. So we're really talking a big agency or big consultancy here to hit those sort of usage limits.
Sure. All right. Question, do you plan to add more languages? This user specified French.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. And again, it's a very, very popular request. We've got a lot of users, paid users from before this campaign, and also AppSumo users that have put that request in. It is something we're looking at very seriously. And it's not a major, from an engineering perspective, it's not a major. So I can tell you that, again, it's something that we'll look at quite soon.
Sure. For aggregate data, could I show the average conversion rate of all my clients in each client's report? And if yes, can I filter that by state or industry?
Could you just repeat the question for me?
Sure. For aggregate data, could I show the average conversion rate of all my clients in each client's report? And if yes, can I filter that by state or industry?
I gotcha. So so what we're looking at here is So this is a view of each individual client, right? So we're looking at, like, as an example, Amazon, Apple, Burger King. I think what the Sumaling's asking is they want to look at the metrics of these three kind of blended together. So they may want to look at like an average of how many, of like a social media following, or an average conversion rate across these three clients. So the answer to that is,
there actually are a few people asking about, you know, comparing data of two clients and things like that sort.
gotcha. So I'm just going to flick quickly to our roadmap. So the idea here, it's called Oviond agency. It's called Oviond agency tools, and the answer to that is right now no, but it's a big part of our own internal roadmap to get that particular feature knocked out. So because we're bringing in all of the connected data from all of the, you know, across all of the clients, they're knocked out in kind of a very siloed view here. So, you know, specifically for Amazon, specifically for Apple. What we are adding, and we are actually, we have a version of this that we're working with internally, is an agency tab up here. So when you hit the agency tab, you're going to be able to create that exact thing. So bring in data from Amazon, Apple, Burger King, bring it together. And then we're also bringing in data mashups. So we'll have a couple of predefined data mashups. So you'll be able to look at, like, an example of that would be total media spend across clients. So you could look at Facebook, how much have you spent on Facebook ads, you know, across Amazon, Apple, Burger King, or, you know, those data mashups would obviously come in based on request and based on upvote. But yeah, we absolutely are working on that.
Wonderful. If a business has multiple accounts for a single social platform, can each be added to this single client? So multiple Twitter accounts, multiple Instagram accounts?
No.
Okay.
So that you'd need to, I'm just trying to think of why you'd ever have that. You'd need to have a client connected to a Facebook page, or a client connected to,
Okay.
yeah, so it would need to be one, yeah. If you
All
want,
right.
if you had multiple, maybe let me just clarify that. Like, very often that happens if you have a couple of different branches. So, you know, you might have the same brand, but they might have stores in different areas. So those would each become a client. So it'd become, like, you know, the name of the client and the area, you know, the name of the client and the area. So that they would each be a different client, because in principle it's a different branch. And
Sure.
yeah.
All right. So a couple more questions on limits. Is there a user limit for your team?
No, not for any AppSumo plans. That they're all open.
What about a max number of widgets per report?
Okay, reports are completely unlimited. Dashboards are limited. So I just want to explain that real quick. It is quite a popular question, and I just want to make it clear. So dashboards, obviously these here, so these are limited to 20 widgets per dashboard. And the reason for that is people are using these dashboards, you know, to display on like a big screen in the office, or they're using them to look at data on a quick overview. If you start loading these with 200 or 300 widgets, they become super slow. So the idea with these is that they're kind of just little snapshots. The way to get around that limit is just to go and add more dashboards. So you can have a social media dashboard, you could have like a web traffic dashboard, you could have like a, you know, you could have maybe a you know, digital PR dashboard, whatever it might be. And the way to do that is just to click between dashboards. So there is an idea of one where the widget limit is reached. It just gives you a little notification. So the idea is that these are kept really super lightweight and as simple as possible. The reports are completely unlimited. And the reason for that is the reports are set up, and from an engineering perspective, the reports are set up in a way that they're, you know, every page is a container. So we're able to really, you can add as many pages here and as many widgets as you like to reports. But the limit is with dashboards is that they become really sluggish when you start loading loads and loads of widgets onto them. Okay.
Thank you. All right. So Sumolings, if you have any questions that you would desperately like answered, go ahead and leave those in the Q&A box now. I'm doing a last look through of some that seem urgent. There was a Sumoling wants to know about something that came up in an AppSumo comment. A question about how far, I'm going to combine this into two questions. So they ask, how far away is data mashing, where you can get reports of total social media followers? But I also wanted you to just speak again, if you can just point us to the roadmap, and a lot of people have asked about, estimated dates and future plans, and can you do certain things? So I want to make sure that everybody's being heard. Can you just show them one more time where they can go ahead and submit requests or check on the, when things will be coming?
Absolutely. Let me address the first question first regarding data mashups. So data mashups, again, I'll say it's a popular request for us. So obviously after this launch, we're going to go into another fairly heavy development phase, but we'll be looking at all the popular requests and knocking them out. It's not a big one, so I'd imagine data mashups kind of by mid-year sometime, and we'd have a small library of popular data mashups. The second question around integrations and roadmaps, there are two places where you can go for that. So on the front end of the website, just right at the bottom here, you can look at roadmap and changelog. If you're in the app or on the website front end, you're also able to just click on our little intercom bubble down the bottom here, and inside there you can submit an idea. So if there was anything you wanted to submit, you could submit it here, or you can also view the idea board right inside the little intercom chat bubble there. So if you just go to view ideas, you're able to select by category. So you can see that Google My Business is kind of the next integration that we'll be building, and so on and so forth. And as soon as we move these into building, you'll see some of them that are a little bit further down, they are building. And the reason for that is just because they are kind of closer aligned with the general strategy of the product. But if they're on here, and they're popular, we're going to build them.
Wonderful. All right. Is there any plan to combine data from different integrations such as Google Ads and Facebook to calculate information like return on investment or total ad spend across all platforms?
Great question. The answer to that is yes.
Cool. And I apologize if your question was missed. I promise I'm not avoiding you. I just, there are a lot of questions. It's a good problem to have. So Marcel, with regards to Google Analytics, can you compare sessions from 2 different months in one graph?
No, that is a good question though, but no, you can't at this point. I mean, it is something that has been spoken about and requested, and it's certainly something that we may look at.
Great. Can you see who made changes to a report and when?
Yeah, so like a change log?
Yeah.
Again, a good question. And at this point, no, I mean, it's a great idea. It's something that we have spoken about, but we don't have a time on that at this point.
All right. Can we send reports to different clients in different time zones?
Yeah, absolutely.
I figure. All right. That is all we have time for today. But you all agree. Oh, there was, okay, Marcel had one other. When you connect to Facebook, I can only see a personal page. How can I select my business page?
Well, I wonder, Marcel, if you could raise a ticket for that.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
It's something that we could definitely look at. And maybe just before we end off, Lindsay, I just want to just thank everybody so much for the amazing, overwhelming support for the product. It's truly been humbling for us. We're obviously we're a strong team, but we're not a huge team, but we're working as hard as possible to get on top of the endless kind of stream of questions, and we're really grateful and for every single question that comes in. I just want every Sumoling to know that we're working super hard to be on top of everything. I promise you guys, we will get on top of it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris. Hi again, everybody. I really appreciate you all taking the time to join us for this webinar. Chris, I appreciate you so much for joining us today. Sumolings, if you have not already redeemed your code for Oviond, I highly recommend you head over to AppSumo right now. You can find it at appsumo.com/Oviond. You can find it under Browse. It's starting right now at just $49, and it's backed by AppSumo's 60-day guarantee. So you can go ahead and get set up, start playing around with your reports. Let us know in comments how it's working for you. And of course, if you have any further questions, go ahead and leave those on the deal page. If you have any questions about your specific account, you can always submit a support ticket. And of course, this was a very popular webinar, which leads me to believe this might be a pretty popular deal. So all of your patience has been wonderful. Thank you so much, Sumolings. Thank you so much, Chris. Everybody have a great day.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you.